Saturday racing at Belmont Park. Let's take a look at the late pick five sequence for Saturday, June the 24th. Thanks so much for tuning in, hanging out with us. I've been posting a lot more of these videos where we dive into the daily racing form past performances. I always love looking at the formulator style past performances. They make it so easy for us to handicap, and they give me a lot of the tools that I need, the stuff that I'm looking for when I handicap the races. So drf.com daily racing form for the past performances. At the end of this video, I'll show you how you can get those for free with a DRF Bets account. Let's take a look at that late pick five. For Saturday, it kicks off with the stakes race, the Wild Applause, $150,000 stakes. The conditions for 3-year-old fillies going a mile on the turf course. The horses that are on my radar for sure. Now, just from a starting point, the 8's the horse to beat, Breath Away. I thought she got a pretty good split. She moved right to the lead. Absolutely no excuses. She finished second that day as the beaten favorite in the Hilltop last time out. I mean, she's the horse they'll have to beat. I like a few others more just based on their price. And in looking at this race, who's going to the lead? And let's go inside out. Probably not Violet Gibson. Tax Implications isn't fast. Liguria is not fast. I'm just kidding. Some tactical speed. Cecile is not very fast. Last time out wasn't. I think she's actually she has a little more tactical speed than it may look like based on that last effort. I feel like of the major contenders, as we scroll through, that it's a really good spot for Soviet Excess. I don't know how good she is. We have no idea how tough the fields that she beat are in her last couple races, one of them on the synthetic, one of them on the turf. But she has some speed. She can sit off and pass horses. We know that for sure. And by process of elimination, she might just be on the lead in here. So I'm going to give her a shot and use her in the pick five and in all exotics because we know she can get this trip. She's one of the few with proven speed, proven going long on the turf. It just comes down to, how good is she? Can she compete with some of the best in here? Liguria will also be on the ticket for me. She was a close-up third last time out. And in that race at Churchill, the Edgewood, there was no passing. Heavenly Sunday went wire to wire. Mission of Joy had a trouble trip and then came back to win next time out. And Liguria was bottled up. Really was sitting behind the leaders at the top of the lane, and she just got pinned down inside and just could not get off the rail. Never got a chance to run, did Liguria that day. So she's in the mix for me. Also in here, the 5 Celine would be the price horse. Cecile, excuse me. So first two were sprinting on the dirt, and they were tough in tough races too. You can take one click and look at the charts behind Dazzling Blue, who comes back to win. The next two is a stakes winner, and then in career start number 2, finishes behind Punch Bowl. And this was a very live race. Not only Punch Bowl came back to win the next start, we had 4, including Cecile, 5 next out winners. Punch Bowl, who came back to win and then was second in the Ashland. Unsung Melody, who came back to win next time out. And Sacred Wish, who was a runner-up at Belmont last weekend, and we've seen pop up in a couple graded stakes, was second in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. So I think, she was really impressive in her first start on the turf. She had a brutal start. She gets bumped. She gets squeezed. She's last, 10 lengths off. At the top of the lane, she's still last. She tips 2 from the outside. She starts to fly. She's sort of lugging in, but as soon as she gets straightened out, she just inhales the field. It was really impressive. So the concern is if she gets away slowly again, she may have a little too much to do. If she's able to show a little bit more of that positional speed like we saw in her sprint races, it could be a whole different ballgame. So I thought the 5, the 6, and the 3 all would present us better value than the 8, who is the horse to beat, Breath Away. But we'll look for some others in here, perhaps a bit more upside as we turn the page to race number 7, a mile and a 16th claimer. It's a $16,000 claimer. There's just not that much proven speed in this race. I'm going to give Truculent another shot. So let's take a look at this race last time out that Truculent was in, and Higher Quality actually beat Truculent. Truculent's the 5 in here. Higher Quality is the 2. Yes. So we're watching the 2 and the 5. In particular, let's watch the 5 as I'm talking about Truculent, because he had a fine start. Like, he's right with the leaders here, but doesn't really want to get into that battle. So it's fine just sitting right behind the leaders in third, and you feel like you're going to be in a pretty good spot down on the inside. Now, keep in mind, when the race starts, he's right with the leaders just behind the fastest. And then he chooses to sit inside third, Truculent. But watch how far he ends up getting shuffled back here. Keeps getting shuffled. And now, instead of being right behind the leaders, he's lost like 2, maybe 3 lengths of positioning. And this is on a muddy track where he's now going to have to alter course and angle around. So the 2, Higher Quality, that's the horse who wins, and that's the horse who's blowing right by Truculent, because Truculent has to back up and then shift to the outside and angle around. So that's honestly the difference in winning. And because the margin is like 6 lengths, you may look at it differently, but some of that is because of the off track as well, the muddy track, but got the shuffle on a muddy track. And I think he's just faster than Higher Quality naturally. He got shuffled back here, so it doesn't look like on paper he may be as quick, but all of his other races prior to this, he's right on the lead. And now he's going to go second start off the short little break. I feel like he's the one to catch. He's a lot faster than Blake B. Grump's Little Tots is a stone cold closer. Jalen Journey is the real wild card. Feel like he'll be more forwardly placed, stretching back out. And then you have Higher Quality, who's in really nice form right now. He's hard to leave out of, like, late pick 4s and late pick 5s. He's won at, he's won on the lead. He's won sitting just off. He's won it about four lengths off or so. He's proven at Belmont. He's lightly raced with some upside. So there's lots of positives there. So I'm going to probably use the 2 that came out of that same race as the key horses for me, Truculent and Higher Quality. I prefer Truculent, just a little bit of a better price, and I think they'll get aggressive with him. And the wild card for me would be the 5, Jalen Journey, who's 0 for the last 16, but 15 of those races were against better. Dropped down to 12-5 last time out, finished third. Kind of outrun a little bit early. Did make a 4-wide move up to challenge and finished third that day. I guess I'm just not as high on the 2 closers, the deeper closers that come out of that 12-5 race on June the 3rd. So that would be the Grump's Little Tots and Cool Quartet race. It's not sure if they're going to get the type of trips they need in this race, where they don't seem quite as fast as a few of the others in this smaller field. So lots of 2s and 6s for me. Wild card of the 5, Jalen Journey. Let's keep moving along to race number 8. This one's a first level allowance, going 1.25 miles on the turf. These are 3-year-olds and up. The one so high is getting some major class relief. You have a lot of horses in this field that don't have the best of recent form, though. He's 0 for his last 11. Now, most of those have been in spots where he has better speed figures than the rest of this group. And a lot of the times, if he runs those same races, he'll win the race on Saturday. Kind of tough, though, when you have a horse like this who's always a big price, and now he's going to be 5-2. Do you really want to count on him at that short of a price? If he wins, sure. He's in the mix. I started eliminating horses. There's just a lot of horses I didn't love in their current form. I wasn't too big of a fan of the 2 or the 3 all that much. I was trying to get to the 3. I want to like him a little bit more. He would be one of the maybe fringe horses for me. I couldn't really get to the 4 or the 5. I was trying. So we have the The two hold the Salsa's 0 for the last 12. Fighter in the Win is 0 for the last 8. Basso is 0 for the last 21. And then you get to a couple horses who are just in solid form right now. They seem like they have some upside. Both of the Linda Rice horses back to back, I think, are going to be really tough in here. They're probably not going to offer you all that much value, but if we try to beat a couple of short prices in the previous races, then here we could maybe use the 6 Royal Spirit. What's tough about him? I mean, he did get a perfect trip last time out, but he has the kind of running style where he can work that sort of trip out for himself. It was a determined win, though. He did have to get by a stubborn pace setter and hold off a few others that were not far behind. The 7 visually looks like he's in really nice form, and it sort of like the light bulb went back on for him once he moved back to the turf. Broke his maiden, 2 starts back at the maiden $40,000 level, and then in a 50 starter allowance, it was really impressive. He was taken back. He settled 7th of 9. He got to the rail about 6 lengths off. He started to move just before the top of the lane, tipped out 5 wide. It was like a big, sustained rally. And you just sort of compare how good he looked in that race to how off form a lot of the others in here are. I wouldn't be shocked if the 7 gets really bet hard. Because visually, he looked so good compared to the rest of these. 6 and 7s for me. As we move to the 9th race, not the real strongest opinion in here, but just a few things to mention on a couple of horses. We'll see, Venti Valentine making her return on May the 29th. That was her first start as a 4-year-old. Didn't show that she had stepped forward. I don't know if this is a fantastic spot for her from a class standpoint. She's probably better than the rest of this group, but she's got the inside draw right next door. Gerrymander is quick. Right to the outside, Icy Stare Down is quick. Even a horse like, Sweet Wilhelmina could flash a little speed. Stretching back out from a sprint race, which is, going to be helpful for her most likely. So I couldn't really get the good feel for this race. Gerrymander, she's a 4-year-old now, and her 4-year-old races, you haven't really seen the progression that you would have liked. She was in the Ruffian last time out behind Pasta Champagne. Idiomatic was second in that race, and then Idiomatic came back to win next start after that. Earned 102 Beyer and winning the Shawnee. Now, we can probably be a little forgiving, and Gerrymander can sit off the pace a little bit, but if you eliminate that one race where she earned the big Beyer, a lot of her other races aren't nearly that good. So at 8-5, I don't know if she's an overwhelming favorite in here. Kind of landed on the 5 as like a total wild card. In her last start, she was a step slow. She was last to 5. She moved in between horses up to 3rd. She was really ranked, though. She just wanted to go. It was her first start in 5 months. She couldn't get settled, and in the top 2 just separated. But she did break her maiden here at Belmont. She's going to go second start off the bench. I'm just going to give her a little bit of a look. I'm definitely going to use her in some exotics. I wanted to like Movie Moxie more. She's just 2 for her last 21. And those 2 wins came in small fields when she got a perfect trip. Maybe that happens again here, though. Maybe she just sits close up from the outside and can get a good trip here. I don't really love anyone. And that's why I end up sort of on the 5, is because in a race where you don't love anyone, well, yeah, use the price horses. If you feel like they all have a shot, or you can really make cases against all of them, the 5 will be in the mix for me. 4 will be in the mix for me. I'm a little cold on the, on the shorter prices here. So just trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to approach this race from a pick 4, pick 5 standpoint. But I'll be using the bigger prices in here for sure. Let's close things out in race number 10. We have a New York bred $40,000 claiming race for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and up, sprinting 6 furlongs on the turf. I like Pasiloquent a little bit here. That's the number 2. She's been on the turf twice, and she definitely perked up in her 2 races on the turf. They were both at this level. April the 22nd, she finished 3rd. And then last time out, let's watch this race on May the 18th. So she was the number 2 in that race. She did face a couple of other rivals that were also in there, like Dance With Me, Babe. But we're going to focus on the number 2's trip in here. So this is just her second start on the grass. You can see her down on the inside. She's not too far out of it, maybe about 4, 5 lengths, but she is behind a lot of horses. So she's for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8th down on the inside. And you can see she's just going to be in a bad spot now because there are a lot of horses in front of her, and she's just at the mercy of what happens. She needs room. She starts to get into a nice stride here, and she's traveling well, but she's behind the 5, you can see, and she's pinned in with horses to her outside, horses behind her, so she can't back up and go around, and she's just waiting in front of her for the 5 to move. Waiting, Pasiloquent, which means rare, and just nowhere to go. Sitting down in the 4th flight. You can see her in the green cap, just trying to find some room, or behind the green cap, with the white cap. And here comes Pasiloquent now, in between horses, finds a seam, trying to alter course now, kind of like looking for where is the best way to go. Even here, you can see the 2 full of run, and things just get a little bit tight late. Wasn't able to find a seam. I love that late energy, and I just really have enjoyed seeing how well she has performed in her 2 races on the turf. I think she's a great fit here. Pasiloquent. Now, the one who also is intriguing is the 7 Lakeside Getaway, who's going to drop in class. She's been facing better maiden special weights at Gulfstream and then New York bred maiden special weights here. It feels like she might have been in a little too tough. And at the 6 furlongs where she'll cut back, she should be a little fitter, and she's shown that she wants to be forwardly placed. I think it's a great spot for the 7 Lakeside Getaway. So those will be the 2 that I'm building a lot around, the 2 and the 7. Pasiloquent, Lakeside Getaway. You want to go a little deeper. I mean, the 12's a player, no doubt about it. She's not fast early. That scares me a little bit. She could be coming from way out of it. She ran well last time. She was 3rd. It was against Open Company. And now back in with New York bred, so that's a class drop. She'll need a little help up front, though. Others that are, at least worth mentioning or taking a look at, people will probably be using in pick 4s. The 3, 4, and 5. The 3, Dance With Me, Babe. No surprise. Showed good speed and couldn't hold on last time out. The 4, Mo de Morning Grouch. Changes Barnes. Could see this one. The race at Saratoga was really solid, and the first couple races were good. There are quality races in here. Can we toss the last 2, and maybe she goes second start off the bench, and she can get back to some of these better races? And the 5, Purest Performance. We'll add the blinks. Source was not beaten a whole heck of a lot in that race behind Dance With Me, Babe, and Pasiloquent. 2, 7 as the key horses for me at Belmont Park on Saturday. Best of luck if you're playing the races at Belmont on Saturday. Wanted to encourage anyone who likes the look of these past performances. They are a ton of fun to dive into, and they're very easy for you to handicap and for you to navigate. Here's how you can get these for free. If you sign up for a DRF Bets account, they have a great promotion. Use the promo code WINNING and follow the steps. Promo code WINNING gets you a $10 free bet right when you register. deposit exactly 250. They'll give you a 250 matching bonus. Boom. All of a sudden, you've got 510 in your bankroll and you only deposited 250. They'll also load you up with 10 free formulator cards, what we're looking at right there. So for a different date. And then every time you bet $50, you get another card. So that way, the more you're betting, you're not going to have to pay for your past performances. So if you play the races a lot, even if you don't play that much, you will be able to stack up credit for these past performances. You'll be able to get DRF Formulator for free. Good luck this weekend playing the races over at Belmont Park.